Prime Minister to address the nation on Wednesday, announcement of minor cabinet changes expected. Details to this story and more in the National Report. With the National Report, I'm Leslie Ann Johnson Cornwall. There could be some minor changes to the Grenada cabinet. Ms. Keisha Alexander Grant, Press Secretary to the Prime Minister, Dr. The Right Honourable Keith Mitchell, says the changes will be announced when he addresses the nation on Wednesday.
He will also speak, I suppose, to some tweaks that he will be making within his cabinet or within his government. So you'll hear all about that tomorrow.
Ms. Alexander Grant also spoke to some other issues that the Prime Minister is expected to focus on.
The back-to-school initiatives that we've seen as it relates to teachers, as it relates to students, in terms of the things government have done to ensure that the academic year goes a bit more smoothly. He'll speak to Carnival. We know certain things that happened over the Carnival season, for example, with PAN. We'll hear something about that, what is government's position on that, and so. So the rest of it, you'll hear it tomorrow.
In the wake of a recent increase in reports relating to sexual crimes, government is seeking to beef up efforts to reduce these statistics. Cabinet has appointed a national committee which consists of members of the Royal Grenada Police Force, Child Protection Authority, attorneys at law, and social workers. The committee will be guided by the OECS, which is working with various committees throughout the region to stamp out child sexual abuse. Social Development and Housing Minister, the Honourable Delma Thomas, told members of the media on Tuesday during the government's weekly post-cabinet briefing that government has a zero-tolerance approach towards this social ill. She says one report of child sexual abuse is one too many.
We cannot sit idly by, and sometimes we just give lip service to those issues. And when we have one in the news and everybody talk, or everybody come and we talk, and then after that, die down, you do not hear anything again until another case arises. But as a government, we are cognizant of the fact, and we will not sit idly by. We believe that one case of abuse among our children is too much, and therefore the committee will give details next week on the term of reference, the work plan.
Minister Thomas says government alone cannot stamp out the problem, and the onus is on all to work towards reducing the statistics of child sexual abuse.
We have a responsibility to protect our children. We have a responsibility not to sweep those issues under the carpet or accept gifts or payments for those issues. We have to bring it to the fore and let the law take its course. And we will be looking at that also, because once we have a reported case of sexual abuse, the parents should not be able to say, I'm not going further with the case. Once it is reported and the police has the evidence, there's no parent or no child will come forward and say, no, we want to drop it or we want to settle out of court. You can't settle a sexual case out of court. That's a damage for life. When you sexually abuse our young children, we damage them for the rest of their life. We finish with them. And therefore, as a government, we can't sit idle by. As a nation, and that is why I say this cannot be an issue only for government. This is a bigger issue than government.
This is the National Report. More news after the break.
The house was shaking. Then said the story here, babe. Crack, and the roof had gone.
Man, I was so scared, I nearly wet myself.
Only those who have lived it can truly understand the devastating fury of a hurricane's wind.
The house across the road just get up and roll over.
Hurricane force wind. It's a hazard. Hazards. Take control. Reduce your loss. You can hurricane-proof your home. For example, make your roof more wind-resistant by using screws instead of nails in its construction. Find out more about hurricane force winds and other hazards at your local disaster office.
A message from the National Disaster Management Agency and SEDERA.
Grenada has conveyed its sympathy to residents of Texas who are affected by the heavy rains and flood due to the passage of Hurricane Harvey. Officials say the death toll has now reached 9, but that figure could rise as authorities pursue reports of people apparently lost in the torrential downpours unleashed by Harvey since Friday. Grenada's Press Secretary Lakeisha Alexander Grant, during the government's weekly post-cabinet briefing, gave the assurance that the administration is in constant contact with officials in Texas.
We want to assure that our different missions and so in the United States have reached out to our citizens who might be living in affected areas. I know for sure Miami and the consulate in Miami has done that, Washington and so. So I just want to assure, just in case we're wondering what is going on or if government has reached out, just to let you know that it has. I know there have been questions about students, etc. Most of them are not in the affected area, but to those who might be citizens, I know we have a sizable community in Houston. They do have a little carnival there as well. So that tells us that we have some Grenadian brothers and sisters there. So our thoughts and prayers are with them, and our diplomatic missions abroad are in communication.
And Social Development Minister Delma Thomas added her words of encouragement for those affected in Texas.
I too would like to empathize with the people in Texas, and my prayers and the prayers of the government are with them at this difficult time.
Grenada is issuing an official passport to its newest cultural ambassador, Jaylon Boise Olive, following his win at the 2017 Soca Monarch competition. The announcement was made following a cabinet meeting on Monday. Boise captured 4 Soca Monarch titles, the first in 2013, and then for 3 consecutive years, 2015, 2016, and 2017. The official passport gives the artist special recognition while representing Grenada overseas, but does not hold certain courtesies and immunities as a diplomatic passport. An official from the Ministry of Culture told GIS that Boise is currently out of state and will complete the necessary paperwork for the passport upon his return. And that's the National Report. I'm Leslie Ann Johnson Cornwall.